teaches you to depend upon another race is a leadership that will enslave you. Any leadership that teaches you to depend upon another race is a leadership that will enslave you. They gave leadership to our foreparents, and that leadership made them slaves. But we have decided to find a leadership of our own.
You know. Not your average nigga, I'm a god out the hood. They can't downplay me. I came up, I'm elevated. I ain't gotta say too much for them to know I'm coming for what's mine. You know they see me in my presence, say they see how I'm coming. Young, but you not just gonna finesse me like you did my peoples. Then back when you said they was emancipated. This ain't that. Your head too big, you feeling yourself. The game wasn't fair, you had the advantage, we wasn't educated. I don't look at you people the same. Nah. Your worst nightmare, my skin tone about them chains. Yeah. Not no circus lion, son, I can't be tamed. You gon' have to kill me, pussy, Toby ain't my name. Y'all still want us think our history started when we were slaves? What? Come on now, talk about them pyramids we made. I was chosen by that man, you know y'all just been running game. The nerve of you acting like I ain't.
Peace, family. Welcome to the Campaign TV show. I am your host, Brother King Cam, and I need everybody to like, share, and I need you to comment, share this out to as many people as possible so we can get as many people into the room. I need you to comment, share, and get as many people in the room as possible. Now, we know that the topic of discussion recently is Will Smith and Chris Rock at the Oscars. Will Smith and Chris Rock at the Oscars. And wa alaikum salam, Brother Rafiq from North Carolina. Shout out to Durham in the building. Will Smith, Chris Rock at the Oscars. There was a situation where Chris Rock was slapped in the face by Will Smith. Everybody saw that on national TV, national, international TV. I need everybody that's watching, I need y'all to like, and I need y'all to share. I need y'all to get this out to as many people as possible. And in the process of doing that, let me do the exact same thing so we can get as many in here for this discussion right now. And let me also send this out because I'm using Ecamm, and in the process of using Ecamm, I don't necessarily know how the links and stuff work. Like, so let me see something. Let me see something here. I'm trying to post this link out to my text list. So if you can just bear with your brother for a minute, I'm trying to post this out to my text list. And let me just drop some tunes in here while we post this out. About it, my brother. Yeah, what's going on, brother? Lewis, what's happening with you? All right, let's see. Let's drop this record real quick. Okay, that's that brother Ben. Okay. Yeah.
We used to stay in one room, Almighty God made room. Devils prayed for my doom, they weren't prepared for the boom. We used to stay in one room, Almighty God made room. Devils prayed for my doom, they weren't prepared for the boom. Boom, boom, they weren't prepared for the boom. Boom, boom, they weren't prepared for the boom. Boom, boom, they weren't prepared for the boom. Devils prayed for my doom, they weren't prepared for the boom. Little devils prayed for my doom, won't apologize for the boom. To answer your question, I'm rapping, I'm wrecking. Yeah, mixtape coming soon. You didn't expect me to fly, really don't know why. Got it by the most high, I ain't even gon' lie. Yeah, God made me a star, then he blessed me with a car. That's a clean black fit, yeah, he making me a vid. My brother tried to throw shade, we ain't even got debt. Hating cause I'm getting paid, the teachers got a brother said.
It gives me pain, bigger than any hypocrite or envious believer that did not like me. I don't give a damn who don't like me. If Allah loves me, what do I care?
We used to stay in one room. Almighty God made room. Devils prayed for my doom. They weren't prepared for the boom. We used to stay in one room. Almighty God made room. Devils prayed for my doom. They weren't prepared for the boom. Boom, boom. They weren't prepared for the boom. Boom, boom. They weren't prepared for the boom. Boom, boom. They weren't prepared for the boom. Devils prayed for my doom. They weren't prepared for the boom.
I just talk to Tyler, man, keep it 100. All praise do a law, I came out that junk. Know you my brother, no matter the money. Big cock on the north and they know I'm a hummer. Cause we was abandoned down in the slums, yeah. 12 years old with a gun, yeah. My mama wreck it like a drag strip. She shot a bird at the judge, yeah. Who are you to judge, yeah? I was on painkillers, feeling nauseous. Slave blood in my arms, yeah. I got the rotor guard in my heart, yeah. Hitting switches in the mothership, I turn the wheel into a jumbotron, yeah. Maliki, I'm Dean, when I get it in, I can't do no wrong, yeah. I bow my head and say my grace before I take a breath and then I get it in, yeah. From sardines in a tin, yeah, to putting rims on a binge, yeah. Cracking atoms in the laboratory, I'm a scientist with a big head. Angel of God, took a little bit of time to open up my wings, yeah.
We used to stay in one room. Almighty God made room. Devils prayed for my doom. They weren't prepared for the boom. We used to stay in one room. Almighty God made room. Devils prayed for my doom. They weren't prepared for the boom. Boom, boom. They weren't prepared for the boom. Boom, boom. They weren't prepared for the boom. Boom, boom. They weren't prepared for the boom. Devils prayed for my doom. They weren't prepared for the boom. We used to stay in one room. Devils prayed for my doom. They weren't prepared for the boom. We used to stay in one room. Almighty God made room.
All right, family. All right. So we was able to get that shared out to a couple of other networks. I was able to get the link sent out. So that's how we do it. So I appreciate everybody for tapping in, everybody for joining us tonight for the Campaign TV show. Shout out to who is in here right now. We got Philly in the building. Shout out to Philly. Who else is in here, man? Shout out to the family for checking in. Let's see. I'm trying to see. Okay, here we go. Boom. Got Cleveland, Tennessee. Always good to see my family from Cleveland, Tennessee. Peace, brother Lester. Sister Cassandra, shout out to Brother Ray, always in the building, Atlanta, Georgia. Man. So I want everybody to share this out on your platform so we can get as many people in here as possible. Share this out. But I sent this out to my text list. Shout out to Louisiana in the building. So let me ask y'all something. Is there a title? When y'all see this, is the title showing? Does the title show? Like, is there a title for this podcast? Is it showing a title for this podcast? I hope it's showing a title for this podcast. I thought I typed the title in. I'm still getting used to using Ecamm. So, y'all know we trying to get it together. But if it's not all the way together, we getting together somewhat. All right. So, anyway. So, we know. Okay, no, they said the title show. Okay. What's up? Houston, Texas. Okay, cool. All right. So, yes, the title is showing. All right. So, we know Will Smith, Chris Rock. And this has been something that has been going viral or has went viral all across the internet. And I want to pull up my initial statements because I think they're important. My initial statements. Hold on, wait a second. We ain't there yet. I'm gonna pull up my initial statements on after seeing what happened at the Oscars. I want to show y'all what my initial statements were. All right, family. So that way we can have everything for the record. You know, we love the record. We want to make sure we have everything for the record. Excuse me. Because it's going to help lay a base. It's going to help lay a base and a foundation to what I'm going to be talking about tonight. So let me see. So I need to pull up my initial statements. Pull up my initial statements. I can't even go live on Instagram right now, which is crazy. So I can't even let nobody know what's happening over on Instagram. So where? Hold on. Okay. All right, so this is the post. All right, so let me share my screen. Okay. So everybody can see this post, right? Everybody can see this. This is what my initial statements were yesterday morning after the situation. Okay. Will Smith did what he felt was right at the time. Could it have been handled better? Sure, but it wasn't. I'm not advocating violence at all, but sometimes it's necessary to establish peace and for people to put some respect on your name. And this is a lesson for the young brothers that we should have been taught that a man's wife is off limits. As a husband, you are a protector. Plain and simple. I know what you're thinking, though. He shouldn't have done that to another black man, blue man, white man. Keep my wife's name out your mouth. This is true. He should have. Oh, you can zoom in? Hold on. Oh, wow. You can zoom in. This is even sweeter than anything else. Okay, look. So we can zoom in. He should keep that same energy with August. We're not talking about August. Stay on topic. He shouldn't have done that on stage at the Oscars. Who cares about the Oscars and what white people think? That's your problem now. Will Smith defended his wife, and any man saying otherwise is weird to me. So that was my initial feelings towards the situation. Like I stated at the very beginning, could it have been handled differently? Yes, it could have. Could it have been handled differently? Yes, it could have. So I'm not saying that he handled it properly. I'm not saying or advocating violence against anyone, because technically by the law of the land, brother committed a crime. Technically, by the law of the land, the brother committed a crime. All right? So, oh shoot, I had to cut that audio on. Okay. So, for those of you who are just joining us here in the Campaign TV Show podcast, I'm your host, Brother King Cam, and we are discussing Will Smith, Chris Rock, the Oscars, and was Will Smith wrong for slapping Chris Rock? Now, as I mentioned earlier in my initial statements, I said that Will could have handled the situation better. Absolutely. But I also said, let's pull it back up. I also said that this is a lesson for young brothers that we should have been taught that a man's wife is off limits. That's very true. As a husband, you are a protector, plain and simple. Okay? And I also said that Will Smith defended his wife, and any man saying otherwise is weird to me. So I still stand on those comments, but I wanted to bring context to those comments tonight. I want everybody who watching to say context. In the chat, I need you to say context. That's what I want you to say. Context. Because I think that's very important. All right? Yafa Israel said, it's just like we have family that we get crazy with, but if anyone else, we got problems. Did Chris Rock know about her hair loss issue? That's a good point, Brother Israel. That's a good point. Because a lot of people are jumping on Chris Rock for what he said, but do we know if Chris Rock was aware of her medical condition? And it's so many different perspectives of what really happened or what's going on, because it's so many different elements to the situation. So we got to look at that, because there are so many different moving parts that we have to look at. We have to look at Will Smith, right? His mental state, what is he going through? And the lesson that I want to teach on tonight is dealing with Will Smith and Chris Rock. Specifically how they both handled the situation. So you have people that are saying that Will was right for defending his wife. I was one of those people for saying that Will Smith was right for defending his wife. But also, I want to note the fact that there is also a type of way to defend, and every defense is not a physical defense. Every defense is not necessarily a physical defense. And let me address that too. It was not staged. So let's stop the madness. Like, just stop that. People keep talking about, oh, it was staged and all of this other crazy stuff. It was not staged. Based on my research and based on what I've seen, it was not staged. Okay? Even if the joke had been written in, it's still not staged to the point where you get up and slap a man on international television and then you cuss him out. Right? So let's not even talk about it being staged. You know, people fail at doing their job. So people asking about where was security, all this other kind of stuff. It's not like they got Secret Service security that's flying up there as soon as something happened. Like, nobody knew what was going on. For all security knew it was part of the situation. So when Will got up there and slapped him, it's not like security was flying in to grab anybody. There was no altercation. So Chris didn't retaliate. So at that point, and Will walked off after the fact. So at that point, it was really, what's security going to do? It's nothing to do at that point. But anyways, again, you got to look at Will, right? You got to look at Chris Rock, how he responded. You got to look at Jada. And I wanted to bring some context to what I said because I think it's important. Even though I supported Will Smith in his defense of his wife, I think that we have to understand what a proper defense looks like, because physically touching somebody or getting into a physical altercation with someone is not always the best thing. It's not necessary. It's not necessary. And as grown men and women, we should be able to handle all disputes through communication. Everything can be fixed through communication. Any and everything can be fixed through communication. So, are we allowed to comment first? Not being disrespectful. I'm not trying to be. No, you can comment. You can do your thing. I actually, that was another thing. I wanted to see how I could get y'all in on the call in. Actually, I might be able to do it. But I'll figure that out in a second. Because I want y'all to call in. I want y'all to be able to call in so that y'all can give y'all thoughts on this situation. Let me see something. Oh, you know what? I could put this link out in the chat, though. Let me copy. I could put this link out and then bring you up. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay, so I might do that. But I'm going to put this link in the chat for those who want to come up. But I'm not going to do it just yet because I want to get this point across. But I want to, again, bring people up so you can give your opinions, right? And give your perspective. So you got all of those different factors that's in it, right? And I think we have to look at all of those. And I wanted to bring context to my comments because, like I said, it's a way to defend. A lot of people talk about defending, but you can't be a crash dummy for defense. Does that make sense? You can't be a crash dummy for defense. You just can't. You can't do that because that makes no sense. And the lesson here is twofold. Number one, we got to deal with emotions. And I'm going to read something from Study Guide 18 that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan has given us to study in our development, right? And I think that's very important because understanding what an emotion is and how it can get you in trouble if it's not checked, if it's not properly controlled, is very important. So I want to read what this is, right? I want to read what emotions is and why it's important to properly keep them in check, because if not, then there can be a consequence if you're not able to keep your emotions in check. All right? So I think that's very, very key, because everybody is acknowledging that Will Smith reacted out of emotion. Is that true? Everybody is on a consensus for that Will Smith acted out of emotion. But look at this. Look at what the minister said about emotion. Look at what the minister said about this. He said, the improper handling of emotion does not allow us to grow beyond self. It makes our reasoning subjective and clouds our judgment of individuals, circumstances, and events. It makes us judge individuals, circumstances, and events by how we are affected personally. Thus, we never see the bigger picture. Improper handling of emotion makes us judge selfishly. Now, I wanted to read that because it's important, and to the context of the conversation, Will Smith moved off of emotion. He moved off of what he felt was proper to secure the emotions and the feelings of his wife. Right? But you cannot do that as a man. And as a person who is the leader, you cannot move just off of emotion. All right? You can't do that. Very, very important that we don't do that. So what you have is Will Smith moving out of emotion towards Chris Rock, physically assaulting this man, and then justifying that with the defense of his wife. But at the same time, you have to understand what message this is sending to others who are watching, people who are looking up to you as a role model, and all of these different types of things that are going on. And the lesson that I want to highlight is the fact that we need, as people, not just as men, but as people, we have to control our emotions. That doesn't mean don't show emotions. That means control your emotions. You cannot move off of emotion. And this is what Will Smith did. He moved off of emotion. And I think when he moved off of emotion, he did not calculate the proper response. And as the minister said, it makes our reasoning subjective and clouds our judgment of individual circumstances and events. So because he had emotion, because he led with emotion, his whole reasoning was subjective, and it clouded his judgment of the individual, which is Chris Rock. It clouded the circumstances which surrounded the situation and the events, which is the Oscars, the platform, the fact that he was there to receive an award. All of these different things were part of the circumstances and the events, and that was clouded because of emotion. See? Because of emotion. So what we have to do as a people, especially with our young black men, is we got to let them know that you can't move off emotion. Do you know how many people are in the cemetery, in the penitentiary, because they moved off of emotion? They committed a crime or was involved in a crime of passion, where somebody stepped on your shoes, or somebody bumped into you on accident, or somebody said something to the girl you was with, or to your homeboy, and all that kind of stuff. Do you realize how many people are affected by making decisions based off of emotion? Their judgment is cloudy at this point. Their reasoning is subjective at this point. It makes us judge individual circumstances and events by how we are affected personally. I'm going to say that again. It makes us judge individuals, circumstances, and events how we are affected personally. So because we judge circumstances, people, and events by how we are affected personally, we then react in a way that secures us personally, but you never see the bigger picture. You never see the bigger picture. Did Will Smith see the bigger picture? Obviously, he didn't see the bigger picture because he was emotionally charged at the time. And I'm going to play a clip, some clips actually, a little bit of this interview or this show that did commentary on the Will Smith. And I think it was some good points that was highlighted on this. I think Uncle Kevin Samuels has some good points. I want to go through it for a little bit, and then after that, I'm going to allow some people to call in. So let me go ahead and pull this up. And then let's get into it. Because Unc was dropping some gems on this. Oh, stupid commercial. Can y'all hear? Let me know in the chat if y'all can hear. Can y'all hear in the chat? Oh, shoot. That's what I'm saying. I had to.
I want to know how you felt about it. Would you want your husband to do that for you if you was clearly hurt?
Oh, y'all
I mean,
can
they
hear.
put her
Okay.
face up on the screen. He looked over at his wife. She was hurt. What would you want?
I would want him to defend me. The thing that made me sad was like this was a big night for Will, and then you saw that emotion for him, and it was like it's just I can't. I don't think I've still processed how this night went. You know.
Well, I just know she better take care of business when they get home. Because I know I would. If my man did that for me, I'm just saying, yellow.
Did you talk to either of them tonight?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. Did you tell them how you felt?
Oh, they know how I feel.
Yes. Okay.
Oh, they know how I feel. That's my friends.
Yes.
They know.
Well, you go way back with them to some of the.
It's a girls' trip.
Yes.
Yeah. They know my crazy.
Yes.
You know. Yeah.
Well, it was incredible to watch Will up there, T1. How did you feel watching him give that speech?
I felt very proud. I felt gratified. And I just hope that more men are like that. Care about their families. Now, it's not just about you, right? It's not just about you, sir. It's about your family, the people you create, the people that help you be who you are. That's important. That's what I think America forgot about.
What do you say to people who are critiquing him online right now? That?
Yeah, what you doing for your family? Who you protect?
Okay, by the way, what can we expect from the book? Because we all want to read it.
That's how they're trying to spin this bullshit. As Will Smith jumps up to defend his wife and his family. Gentlemen, make no mistake. We have entered dark, dark territory, especially amongst black men. Gentlemen, that's what they expect of us.
All right. So this is for fair use. Fair use. I need to say that so Facebook don't suspend us or try to take us off because of the fair use that we are utilizing this clip for. Okay, so this is fair use. We're doing commentary over this, but I wanted to add this as well because I think Uncle Kevin Samuels had some good points in his breakdown of what happened, right? And some things that we should learn from as black men, because there's a lot of points in here that I agree with. So let's get back to Unc.
Expect you, they expect me to run into to jump up with a battery in our back, with no thought, and just throw away a life of work. I am going to sit back and you know, plenty of people have said what they got to say. You've heard all the jokes, and I don't have any new material to add on this one. Like you said, they're public figures. And for so many people so many women, black women, to be rushing to defend violence, these are the same people who would sit back and tell you that domestic violence is wrong. I mean, the hypocrisy knows no bounds. And to spin it as though this man came to the defense of his wife's honor. Wife's honor? Let's get into this, people. We have been drug into the Smith family debacle for the past 3 years. None of us asked to be here. None of us asked Jada Pinkett Smith to go make red table talk and start discussing the intimate details of her family and such and so forth. You know, and Will, you ain't escaping from this free either, my friend. Will Smith don't have to cuss to sell on his records, but I do. You chose your image. You chose to marry a woman, Jada Pinkett Smith, who everyone knew, and you even knew she was still in love with Tupac. You chose that. And what y'all choose to do in your own personal, private life is one thing. But I find it funny how so many people are trying to frame this as a man standing up for his family. What about Chris Rock's motherfucking family?
And this is a good point. I have to stop it right there because I think that's a good point. Nobody's talking about Chris Rock and his family and the abuse that Chris Rock and his family suffered as well. You know, I'm trying to look at all the angles. I'm honestly trying to look at all of the angles, because when we look at all of the angles, we'll have a better understanding of what really went down. Right? We'll understand better what really went down, because if we don't, then we'll have as the minister said, jaded, right? Not jaded, but we'll have our view won't be proper. The view will be cloudy, and we'll make decisions based on how we feel. Oh, see, that's heavy right there. We'll make decisions based on, and I'm sorry, I'm in the process of trying to send something, but we'll make decisions based on how we feel. So I think that's very key for us to also keep on the forefront of our mind, because Chris Rock has a family, a wife, children, a mother, all of that stuff. And this man was up on stage and somebody slapped him and he didn't even retaliate. That's a whole nother conversation for another day. Because how many grown men would be able to swallow their ego if you on international TV, a mega superstar like Chris Rock, even though I'm not a Chris Rock fan, but I'm just saying, he's still a superstar, mega comedian, right? Actor, all that. And you just got disrespected on international TV by a peer and a colleague. How many men would be able to swallow their pride and actually think through that situation to make the best decision? Because Chris Rock could have reacted off of emotion. Because I'm pretty sure he had emotions. This dude just came up here and slapped me. Like, I'm pretty sure he had emotions like, bruh. But he had to think about what his next move was going to be. So we got to think about that too. So I think that's a good point. All right.
What about Chris Rock's people? What about Chris Rock's kids? Why does Chris Rock get to get punched or slapped on international television and that's okay? Why? Because he's a black man. And like I've always said, gentlemen, make no mistake about it. Like it or not, The one person you could not have done that to would have been a black woman, but you can do it to a black man, and you got black women and black men co-signing this. Black men, I want you to be clear. If you are running out defending this bullshit, you need your head checked. Pounding your chest, jumping out of the window, defending this Captain Save 'em kind of stuff ain't gonna get you any brownie points. Not gonna get you any brownie points. Not gonna get you anything. First of all, let's talk about some high level stuff. The Academy has a code of conduct. A code of conduct, things you should and should not be able to do. When you go to these award ceremonies, they even have people sitting in the on deck circle just for when the celebrities and stuff go to the bathroom for seat fillers, like extras on the set. And when these people are there, they have to abide by certain rules. There's a story of a woman who was a seat filler. And she was asked by a celebrity, hey, you ever hold an Oscar? No. You want to hold one? Yeah. And the woman took her picture of her holding the Oscar. She posted it on Instagram. They removed her from the Oscars. So let me get this right. If you are caught holding an Oscar, and as a seat filler, you can be kicked out. But you got all of mother flipping security watched Will Smith march up to the stage. What did they think he was going to do? Hug Chris Rock? Yell at him? Chris Rock didn't know what was going on because the joke wasn't bad. And the assumption, and let's get this whole disease. She's got a disease. This woman doesn't have pancreatic cancer. Her life is not in jeopardy. It is alopecia. Men have it too. When they lose their beard, when they lose their splotchy hair, it is not so traumatic that she is to be handled with kid gloves. And let's remember, Will Smith threw his head back laughing, ha, 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 until he looked over at Jada Pinkett Smith, and then automatically, boom, you know what happened? Execute order.
Oh, he about to get into the good part right here.
66. That is exactly what happened. Enter battery into back, enters.
And that's what I want to address, the battery in the back situation. And that's why I preference that foundation based on the emotion piece, right? Understanding what happens when you lead off of emotion. And let me go back over the minister words so that we can know and understand. The improper handling of emotion does not allow us to grow beyond self. It makes our reasoning subjective and clouds our judgment of individuals, circumstances, and events. It makes us judge individuals, circumstances, and events by how we are affected personally. Thus, we never see the bigger picture. Improper handling of emotion makes us judge selfishly. So the minister goes on to say, our great test today will be whether we can rise above emotion to begin to think and act more like Allah, God. Very, very words that's needed. Heavy words that's needed. Because when we can control and check those emotions, then you won't become a victim of certain circumstances.
Destruction mode, black man. Will Smith jumped up and executed Order 56. He went up there on the night to where everyone knew he was going to win. And what did he do? Made a fool out of himself. Made everyone in the audience feel uncomfortable. To where people are sitting back consoling him. Oh, poor Will. Man, screw Will Smith in this regard, man. Why y'all patting Will on the back? Tyler and Denzel, why didn't y'all go talk to Chris Rock and say, that's disgusting what happened to you? Security didn't do their job. Even if
See, so that highlights the point that I was making earlier about the fact that Chris Rock took the high road. Chris Rock took the high road because most people would not been able to sit there while somebody walked up to him and smacked the mess out of them. Not to mention, not only just smacking them, because getting smacked in private is a whole nother thing, getting smacked in public. And getting smacked in public is a whole nother thing compared to being smacked in public on one of the biggest stage, if not the biggest stage in Hollywood. That's a whole lot of people that just saw you get smacked, who just saw you not defend yourself. That's a whole lot of people. So that, just imagine what that does to the mental psyche, right, of a person that has to go through something like that. Just saying. Yeah, I agree with that too. I agree with that 100%. Like, there's no way you walking up on me and I'm just gonna let you pop me. When you walk up on me, I'm looking at hands. My hands is coming from behind, because I believe his hands was behind his back at the time when he was talking. So if I'm Chris Rock and he get up out the chair, when he said, "Uh-oh," bro got out the chair, I don't know what he thought was happening, but them hands would have came from behind my back. Would have had them hands ready, because I don't know what he gonna do. So you always have your hands ready in a position where they're easily accessible, so you could block. You know what I'm saying? You could block. Boom. Like Kevin said, you could step in. If he come to swing on you, you could step in 45 degrees in. Step in 45 degrees in. You could get back. Bop, bop. It's so many different things, but you don't have to allow anybody to just pop you in your face. I agree with that 100%. And that's why I always say that black men have to train. That's why we got to get in the gym. You got to get into some type of fighting science, whether it's boxing, mixed martial arts, kickboxing, jiu-jitsu, Wing Chun, something though. Don't be out here just living and thinking that everything is smooth out here, because people training, the enemy training, other people are training. You got to be able to defend yourself. While we talking about defending your family, you got to really be able to do that. Just because you can swing don't mean you can defend. Yeah, just because you can swing don't mean that you can defend anybody. Let's keep that in mind. So you got to be training. So that's another good point. Yes. And what brother Kevin is saying was the fact that as men, let me say something to the brothers right now. I gotta talk to the brothers right now because this is important. And Kevin is gonna get into it a little bit later in that broadcast. But I just want to go ahead and skip to straight to the meat and potatoes. What he's talking about is the fact that some men, not most men, but some men, a percentage of men, allow women to put a battery in their back and become a crash dummy in the name of defending your family and defending the honor of your woman or your lady and all of that kind of stuff. And you become a crash dummy to do anything out of emotion, not logic, out of emotion for the express purposes of making sure that they felt like you defended them. And as men, there's things that have to be done. There's certain positions that you have to take, certain stances that you have to stand on and have to make in the household as the leader of that household. And everybody's not going to agree with that. But you have to be willing to take those stances and make it plain to everybody that's involved, because that's what men do. What happens is a lot of men are afraid of rejection. They are afraid of rejection from women. A lot of men are afraid of rejection from women. So because they don't like to be rejected from women, they don't like the way it feels when a woman is not in agreement with you, when you're rejected, then what happens is we will compromise. We'll capitulate. We'll do stuff to make her happy, not thinking about the bigger picture. And sometimes we have to think about that bigger picture because that's what's most important. We can't move off of just emotion. We can't move off of what other people's feelings are. And women are tied to that emotion. I hope y'all hear what I'm saying. They're tied to that emotion in a way that says, oh, he made me feel, she made me feel, this situation made me feel, so you have to do X, Y, and Z to eliminate that feeling. That has no logic in it, though. I'm sorry. That has no logic in it, though. So what I'm saying is that even while Will Smith may have been doing what he thought was best for his wife, it's not what's best for the bigger picture. Himself, the brand, other people who are affected by his choices. It was a poor decision in that regard. And what we have to teach the young people that are watching this and see this is that you can't move off of emotion. And you can't be a people pleaser. You can't allow a woman to manipulate you into doing things just because you make a decision or make a stance on something and she don't agree with it. Well, sometimes some things that you say she's not going to agree with and she going to have an attitude. And so what? That's just part of the game. I live in a house full of women. And I take stances on certain things that don't nobody in the house like. Everybody mad at me. I can't go nowhere without getting the door slammed, getting yelled at. People don't want to talk to me, told me to leave them alone, all of that kind of stuff. But I still got to stand on what I got to stand on because I'm a man. And the leader of the household, I have to make the best decision for the family moving forward. I got to have foresight. See, I got to have foresight into what's happening. Can't just be in present time. We got to be in future time too. Hey, Brother Nathan, that's real, brother. That's real talk. But as a man, you got to stand on certain principles. If I capitulate it, if I bend it and move like the wind every time my daughters and my wife ask me to do something, then I just be like this, like a damn flag in the wind. There'll be no structure, no foundation. So as a man, you got to just stand on that and be prepared to be exiled for a couple of days. That's just part of the deal. But a lot of black men don't like that. They don't like to be exiled like that. They don't like women doing that to them. So what happens is they will capitulate. They will sacrifice. They won't think about what's going on. They just, I got to make her happy. Whatever I can do to make her happy, shut her up. That's what I'm going to do. But that's not good. That's not good. Yeah. So he was going into he was going into some other things as it pertains to Jada Pinkett, which is valid questions. Because people was bringing up the alopecia, right? People bringing up the fact that she may be sick and all of that kind of stuff. And, the question is, okay, well, if that's the case, why come out? That's a valid question. If it's all of that. So it's so many different angles. So you got people that's attacking Chris Rock, saying Chris Rock making, inappropriate, disrespectful jokes towards black women and black women hair. That's number one. Then you have people saying that Will Smith assaulted Chris Rock, but Will Smith also defended his wife. So those are some of the different angles that you have coming in. But like I said, I wanted to highlight the fact that we cannot allow emotions to control us and to rule us. And what Kevin Samuels gets into later is the fact that a lot of women will manipulate men into doing it. They will.
And if he really had an issue, highlight it then. But violence, look how hypocritical he looked. You want to tell Pookie and Ray Ray and the street people and this and that and no. That dog won't hunt. And that's part of the issue. When we sit around and try to talk about how this or that, it's always the hypocrisy. That's why
Yeah, man. So so much to look at. It's so much to look at, because that's another valid point, when it comes to violence in our community, domestic violence, all of that kind of stuff. We can't allow violence to slide in one particular area, but don't check violence in other areas, right? Whew. So this is why the teachers is so important. Let me get on that, because the reason why the teachers are so important, why? Because the most honorable Elijah Muhammad said that the black man and woman must be totally re-educated. Totally, completely re-educated. Because everything in this world, in this society that has taught you, has not taught you properly. It came out of the mind of Satan. And the way his world operates is from his mind. A satanic mind, a devilish mind. Not a godly mind, not a righteous mind, but an unrighteous mind. So you set up a world that's founded on unrighteousness. And then the people that live in this world, who were born righteous, by nature, wicked by circumstance, have these type of things that go on. So those who are tuning into the Campaign TV Show podcast right now, I'm your host, Brother King Cam. Salute to everybody in the chat who's been tapping in. Shout out to everybody that shared as well. But we are talking about and discussing Will Smith and Chris Rock. And was Will Smith wrong for slapping Chris Rock? And as I mentioned earlier, while the brother may have been doing it out of the fact that he wanted to defend his wife, there's a different type of way that you can defend your wife as a grown man. That does not mean that you assault another man. And also the message that we sending out to people, that you can allow your emotions to override your logic. And that's just not the case. That's not what we want to promote as the case. And we have to get away from that, because there's too many crimes. There's too many senseless deaths that go behind emotion-driven decisions. That's just real. That's just the facts. That's just the facts. That's an absolute right there, brother Nathan. His world is opposite our nature. Ain't got us acting other than ourselves. But let's continue to listen, because Brother Kevin break this down. And then what I want y'all to do is I want y'all to press 1 in the chat if you want to come on live and give your comments. I want you to press 1 in the chat if you want to come on live and give your comments. I want to bring some people up so we can get some other people up here to give their thoughts on this as well.
Defending someone's honor is one thing, but let's talk about that. He was defending his wife's honor. He was defending his wife's honor. I can hear that. I can hear that. I can hear that. Defending your wife's honor, provided your wife is defending your honor with her image and her behavior. See, it's my opinion that a wife should defend her husband's honor with the way she carries herself and the way she behaves and the way she communicates. She should carry herself in a way that a wife should.
Okay, see, so that's what I'm talking about. That's what I wanted Kevin to get to. And that's what I wanted to talk about. The fact that you have some black men who are afraid of black women. That's just the truth. Because like I said, like he mentioned, they don't like the disapproval. And what did I say? They don't like the rejection. They fear the disapproval and they don't like the rejection. So because a lot of men grew up in a household with their mothers, with their grandmothers, right? It's always about getting that approval from the woman. So psychologically, as a grown man, when you start dealing with women, you still want to get that approval from her. And in situations like this, when she's not satisfied with your behavior and you don't have that approval, now you have to overcompensate in order to get her approval. I hope you hear what I'm saying. And this is what happens. Your emotions override logic and you have to overcompensate in order to get her approval. And that can lead down a bad road. That can lead down a bad road. So we have to always defend our women when they being disrespected by the enemy, by other people that may look like us, by people in our community. You defend your woman, but it's a certain type of way that you have to go about defending. And it's not always physical. I ain't say that it's never physical. Peep the language. We're not advocating violence. So I said that it's not always physical. 99% of the time, it's not going to be physical. Because see, Allah, God, is not with the aggressor. Not. He hates the aggressor. So we're never going to be aggressive in our approach to conflict resolution. We're not going to do that. And that's where Will Smith went wrong. Not that he should not stand up for his wife, but there's a certain type of way that you have to go about doing it. And he went about it the wrong way, and he allowed emotion to be the controlling factor in that. All right, so who wants to come on live? Who wants to come on live? Who wants to give their opinion? Want to get some different opinions on this? Want to get some other people who been tapped into the show. Yafa Israel been in here long time tapping into the chat. I appreciate it, brother Nathan Fields as well. I'm trying to scroll up on this thing. Won't allow me to scroll up. Okay, there we go. Oops. But press 1 if you would like to go live. Press 1 if you would like to go live. Let me see if I can bring somebody to the broadcast. It's giving me an option to say I can add people to the broadcast. So I will be able to add people to the broadcast. Let's see. Forestina Dickerson. So humiliated. I can only imagine how Chris Rock is replaying this in his mind over and over and over again. And you can't erase it. That's the crazy part. Like, you can't erase what's already done. This on TV. This is going to be on YouTube. This is the clip that's going to be there forever. That's what makes it so crazy. So once you make this mistake, once you make this move, you can't pull it back. That's why I said you got to always be thinking. You always got to be 10 steps ahead of the game. If you make this move, then what? Then what? Then what? Then what? See? And when you have all of those questions answered, then you can make the best decision possible. But if you don't have those questions answered, then you're making a decision out of emotion, not out of logic. And it could put you in a bad situation. So who would like to be added to the broadcast so we could discuss further? I want to hear your thoughts. I want to hear if you disagree. I want to hear if you agree. But on my stance and my position. That Will was correct. Walaikum salam, Brother Warren. Will was correct in the desire to want to defend. But he was incorrect and improper in the actual action that took place in representation of that defense. So I wanted to bring context to my statements and my stance defending Will because I did. His desire. But we're not advocating the violence. It's just because you have the desire and the will and the intention to do something good. Sometimes when you lead with emotion, bad things happen. And I want to say that they said it's a quote that they use for intention. The road to hell was paved with good intentions or something like that. I think that's how it goes. So, people got good intentions all the time. You got good intentions all the time. Shit, Will had good intentions. He didn't come to the award show wanting to slap nobody. Chris Rock didn't come to the award show wanting to insult nobody and get slapped. That was not the intentions when they left that evening for the show. Not that their intentions. But it's not about the intention. It's about the outcome and what actually happened. So who would like to come on live? Who would like to come on the broadcast? Come on. I want to hear your thoughts. I want to hear some of the things that you got to say. I want to know if you agree, you disagree. I want to get a couple of people up so we can have this conversation. Just get a couple of people up so we can have this conversation. So press 1 in the chat. I'll add you to the broadcast. And we will discuss and break down your thoughts, your position on Will Smith. All right. My view is My view is it a bad joke at the wrong time. Okay, come on, brother. Nathan Fields, let's get you on to the broadcast, bro. Okay. Oh, sweet. That's how you add that up. My view is a bad joke at the wrong time. Yes, sir. I agree with that. Okay, that's how you add that there. So let me. Oh, matter of fact, this is what I'm gonna do because I did this earlier. Let me drop the link so that you can come on the interview. Boom. Now I just dropped the link in the chat. You can click that link, and then that's gonna bring you on the camera. It's gonna bring you up, and then we're gonna hear your thoughts, your idea, your perspective, where we at with it. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna hear all that, and I'm curious because I'm tired of listening to myself talk about it. I want to hear what y'all got to say about it. So click the link. I just dropped the link inside of the chat. And I want those who would like to share. I want you to come on up so we can hear your thoughts. Because as grown men, we have to know how to communicate. We have to have conflict resolution. This was the whole point of the 10,000 Feelers. The minister wanted to set up conflict resolution centers in our communities. It needed 10,000 feelers to do it, to stand between the guns and the violence in the community. Stand between the guns and the community. So, in doing so, we have to be able to resolve conflict. And, to be fair, Will did apologize to Chris the next day or 48 hours, today or yesterday. He wrote out an apology to Chris. But people are also saying, too, like Chris denied to press charges and all of that kind of stuff. So Chris is handling this very well. Because you slap this man, you attack his manhood, you embarrass him, humiliate him on a large stage. Then the police get involved, and then you're like, nah, I'm not even going to press charges on him. I'm going to let him rock. Like, you got to think about the type of person Chris Rock is right now. Drop the link. I'm on Mr. Charles' job. I'm still letting the knowledge be born from the God Chucky. Yes, sir. It's in the chat. Uh-oh. Is somebody? No, that was somebody. It's in the chat, though. I dropped the link. Click the link. Let me drop it again. My man said he on the job right now, but he's still letting that knowledge be born. You know what I mean? Tap into the 120. He's still letting it be known, though. So, yeah. But that's the thing. You got a lot of black women that rule black men. Let's get back to Unc right here. Get back to Unc. Because Unc was dropping some Jews. And also, we got to make sure that everybody has their dose of accountability. Everybody. Will Smith, Jada Pinkett Smith, Chris Rock, everybody has a level of accountability in this situation. And not more so of Chris Rock. Because Chris Rock was like totally innocent bystander. But Jada and Will both have to have accountability in this situation. Will has to be accountable for his own actions. Because regardless of how Jada felt, Will purposely, consciously got up and did what he did. Jada didn't put a gun to his head and force him to go do it. His life wasn't threatened. He made a conscious decision to do it. So Will has to hold that. Will, you got to hold that, brother. Can't get away with that. You got to hold that. You got to be responsible for your actions. Jada, you would play a role in this as well. Because what Unc mentioned was the fact that there, all these table talks, all this different stuff that's going on. I'm not even going to repeat what they're saying, but you know what's going on and why it's important to hash these things out. Because Will is not going to emotionally lash out like that just because. Nobody's just going to do that just because. So there's something going on. And as I was having a conversation earlier, somebody said Will is crying out emotionally for some help, and people who are around him are not helping him. So Will's crying out for help. And we talk about this all the time, the mental health situation in the black community. Charlamagne the God is one of the biggest advocates for mental health, getting therapy, because there's been a lot of trauma in our community. I'm going to say it again. There's been a lot of trauma in our community. You need to go see somebody. You need to go talk to somebody. You can't smoke it away. You can't drink it away. You can't sex it away. You need to pray it away. But in the process of doing that, you need to go talk to somebody that will allow you to express it to them as well. You need to get some therapy. I know a lot of people who advocate for mental health in the black community. This is not an exception, because Will Smith obviously is going through something emotionally that allowed him to have a knee-jerk reaction to something that was said to him. And a lot of people saying, he's been the butt of the jokes for such a long time. Yeah, he has been. And one of the things that I said was he did slap Chris Rock, but imagine all the people that hadn't got slapped because Will kept it together, kept his composure. And on the clip that I posted recently on my Instagram today, at Brother King Cam, where Will Smith talked about in his acceptance speech how in this industry you have to take much. People talking mess about you. You can't say nothing to them. You got to take it. I mean, that's everybody in leadership. If you are in a position of leadership, Uncle Kevin said, then you have to get behind. It's not about you. As a leader, it's not about you. Why? Because as you obtain influence and obtain power, then the moves and decisions that you make not only affect you, but they affect those around you. They have ramifications on different levels, meaning they have effects in different spaces at the same time. So that's why it's important for those of us who have a platform, those who have some type of influence, you have some type of cachet or power in the community. You have to be careful about the things that you say, the things that you do, the things that you report on. You have to be thorough, because the people that's taking everything that you say as gospel, and that's powerful. But also, to obtain that, it requires a certain level of sacrifice. It requires a certain level, like Will Smith said, of having people say and do things to you and you not having a response. People say and do things in my comment section all the time. But I have to be mindful about how I comment back. I have to be mindful about the things that I say. I can't just cuss people out. Come on, lovely Ray. Come on up on the stage and let's talk about it. Click the link. Click the link click the link that's in here and let's talk about it. Sis said Chris doesn't deserve this. I'm sorry. Joke or no joke? I agree. I agree. Like we mentioned earlier, Chris Rock handled this. You feel me? Like Chris Rock handled this. Give him a round of applause. Give him a round of applause because he handled that perfectly. Sister Dickinson said, I agree he is going through something emotionally. I didn't think it was such a bad joke, but I did not see I did not know or did not see she has alopecia until this happened. Yeah, I mean, it's not a thing. If you're not following Jada Pinkett, you're not going to necessarily know. I mean, they didn't write a story about her and alopecia. So, again, if you're not in her inner circle, you're probably not going to know that. That's another aspect. If Chris Rock is not in her inner circle, he definitely might not have known it. This is why the communication is important. That was a verbal insult, not a verbal assault. Good wordplay, my brother. So I have put the link in the chat. Does anybody want to come on and give their opinion? Let me see. Yeah, nobody clicked it yet. Nobody clicked it, man. Y'all want to come on? If not, we're going to go ahead and close up the tent on this. Because we've been here for about an hour and 23 minutes. So if nobody's coming up to want to give their thoughts, who want to come on and speak on the situation, then that's fine. We'll just go ahead and close up shop. But those were the lessons that I wanted to highlight and bring to this and bring to this table because I think it's important. We have to learn how to control emotion. And men have to learn how to be men. This is why the class of the FOY is so important. Black men in particular need training. You need structure. You need to be helped along in the process of being a man by other men who have experience. His legacy will be okay. Yeah, he might have a blemish on it, but it'll be okay. But black men need structure. And they need to be taught how to be men because these type of things are a part of the process. I learned from some older brothers, right? This is why it's important to be around brothers that did this stuff already. But I learned from some older brothers how important it is to pick up the tab when you go out to eat, especially if you are going out to eat and invite women out, right? If you go out to eat and then invite women out to eat, you are responsible for that tab. Oh, you didn't hear what I said. The brothers that go out to eat and you invite women to a particular restaurant that you decided to go to, you are responsible for that tab that they run up, that the women run up. That's real. But I had to learn that from some older men because I ain't know that. I'm like, I'm responsible for the tab. She didn't have to come. They didn't have to come. You know, like I'm looking at it like, bro, like I offered you the opportunity to come, but you ain't have to. Not if you gonna get here and then act like you don't have no money. That's my mindset. But he's like, nah, brother. As a man, when you invite women out to a restaurant, and the restaurant may be out of what they was looking to spend, but you invited them out. So now you are responsible for the tab. But I would have not have known that if I had not been around older brothers, wiser brothers that have been in different situations and things of that nature that just tell you little nuances of things about being a man that you just don't know. And you're not just going to get from reading a book or watching a lecture. You have to tap in. That's why the class at FOY is so important. Mondays, 7:30, be there. Get that manhood training. Because that manhood training is going to save you a lifetime of mistakes. So if we don't have any other people that want to come on, we don't have nobody that want to, engage us in the conversation right now, that's okay. We'll do it some other time. certainly appreciate everybody tuning in. This is the Campaign TV Show podcast. I'm your host, Brother King Cam. At the bottom, you can go ahead and text the word podcast to 404-737-1030 to get on my community podcast list. How do I put the link in the chat? Lovely Ray. Put it up here again. No, bro, it don't count for everybody. It's only for women. No, you can't invite no grown men out and then the grown man that come expect the brothers to pay his tab. Absolutely not. That's not how that works. Now, if you say when you invited them out and then the brother like, no, you know what I'm saying? Like, bro, I appreciate the invite. That's a little too steep for me tonight. I'm going to just chill. And then you like, no, we want you to come out. Don't worry about it. We got everything when you get here. Oh, well, then you obligated at that point. By you, Bayo, you obligated at that point. But it's only unwritten rule for women, not for men. It's only an unwritten rule as it pertains to the women. If you invite the women out, you are in charge of that tab. That's now your responsibility. So the tab is in total $400, and it's you and another brother. Y'all got to pay $2 each. That's just how they go. Now, the sister may offer something, but don't be expecting them to offer anything. Go ahead and handle that. Okay. Got one brother that want to join. All right. Right when we closing down the tent. All right, let's see. Let me see. Hold on. I got to see how you add. Do you want the application? Yeah, we want to allow that. Okay. Okay. So we can't update that. No, so man, my brother in the green room. Let me guess number 1. All right. My brother. How are you?
Am I online?
Yes, you are online.
I've been following you for a while, listening to you, very intelligent talk and everything. And I left a comment earlier on, but what I said, if you invite anybody out, period. My policy is if I invite you, I want to host you. I don't expect you to pay. It doesn't matter if it's a woman or a man. If I invite you, now if we agree to go out to eat together or like just hanging around, yeah, we can share the bill. But if I tell you, brother, I want to take you out. Come on, let's meet at this restaurant. I'm obligated to take care of it because I was the one inviting you. Not that we came together to agree that we want to go eat together. So that's my take on that.
Yes,
So what?
I agree with that. I agree with that. I was just saying that as the person that's being invited. So say if you invited me and I
Yeah.
came, then I'm not under the assumption that you are going to take care of the bill. Even though that's what your intention is, and under the fact that you invited me that you're going to do that, I'm still not coming under those guys. I'm coming under the guys that I still have to take care of my own bill. But when it's with women, it's slightly different. It's slightly different. But I definitely appreciate that, and I agree with that, bro. Like if I invite you out somewhere, yeah, I'm hosting you, like you said. So yeah,
Most
did you have any thoughts on the Will and Chris Rock situation?
Yeah, I left a comment some time ago based on that as well. Um, Regardless, people make jokes, people have fun on people. But my thing, what I believe is, regardless of what jokes they made on you, as long as they didn't lay their hands on you, if they didn't put no hands on you, you have no right, regardless of what. That's my belief. I don't know what your opinion is. You have no right to lay any hands on anybody, regardless of what jokes they make. If you don't like it, you can walk away. You
Yes,
can
sir.
walk even in some scriptures or every. I don't know what the Quran says, but a lot of people go by when you slap a cheek, turn the next cheek. I'm not gonna even turn the next cheek. I'm just gonna walk away to diffuse the situation. And if I see the area I'm sitting at is emotionally volatile, like people are making jokes that is really getting to me, again, I walk away from there.
Right.
So that way we don't start up what they're gonna consider me being a black man, that we have this kind of behavior, we know properly uh managing ourselves outside and things like that. That's my belief. He didn't need to do that. He could meet up with Chris after the show and tell Chris, look, I don't appreciate what you did. Please, next time, don't do this and don't do that. So I think they could talk one on one without being violent or striking his face like that. That's my opinion.
Yes, sir.
What you say to that?
Nah, bro, I'm in 100% agreement with you, and that's I mentioned that earlier in the show. His
Oh,
defense.
I joined late, so
No,
sorry
you
about
fine.
that.
No, you fine. You fine. The in his defense of his wife, there's a time and a place on how you go about defending, and as grown men, we should be able to use our words to communicate and de-escalate and resolve any conflicts. We should be able to do
Absolutely.
that through communication, not through violence. So,
Absolutely.
and this is why I pointed out, I highlighted this point as well. We have to learn how to control our emotions, because there
Oh,
are people in the penitentiary today doing 20, 30, 40 years to life, and people in the cemetery that ain't never coming back because they was not able to control their emotions and was a victim of people making decisions out of emotions.
oh yeah, our actions and reactions are equal and opposite. People react. It's difficult. It's a lot of training that you gotta train yourself not to bust out, and it has to come from people guiding you from birth. You know, most people are not lucky to have anybody around them to guide them in the proper way. And if you're not lucky to have someone around like a father figure, you pick up a neighbor, you pick up your a mentor that can guide you. So I'm in education. I got young young boys. I teach them how to how to behave in public, how to respond to utterances and things like that. So I really appreciate your show. So I keep watching, I keep listening to you.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
All right then.
Yes, sir. So we had one person call in, man. I appreciate Brother Bayou for doing that, man. I appreciate my brother for checking in, man. Anybody else want to come on? Next person, come on up and let's hear your thoughts on the situation. Got time? I'll take one more. Y'all always being slow. I've been asking people to come up here and to get on and give your thoughts, your feedback for the last 30 to 45 minutes. And y'all just been wasting time. So anybody else would like to come on? Sister said, how do you come on? You just click the link. I put the link in the chat right here, so you can click that link. If anybody that want to join the podcast community, you can text podcast to 404-737-1030. Scroll across the bottom. If you would like to follow me on my social media platforms, it's Brother King Cam on all social media platforms, right? So you can tap in there on Twitter, on Instagram, on TikTok. We on all of those platforms. Facebook, obviously, because we streaming from Facebook, YouTube, right? Yeah. So, all right. So if I don't have anybody else that's wanted to come on and give their thoughts, we're gonna go ahead and close it down. We appreciate. Got somebody that texted in. If anybody, I lost my train of thought. But I appreciate everybody who tuned in, anybody who gave any comments, any feedback in the comment section. I certainly appreciate it. Every like, share, every comment, post, and all of that beautiful stuff, man. We certainly appreciate it. Here at the Campaign TV show, man, we got a big event coming up in May. The more information that I get about it, I'm going to be releasing it to you as well. Make sure you join the text line so you can get updates. You can receive information about upcoming interviews, things going on with the podcast, events that we have going on, discounts, special opportunities, all that good stuff is coming through the text line. So you need to text podcast to 404-737-1030. Okay? Text that word podcast to 404-737-1030. Scroll across the bottom of the screen. Also, if you would like to follow me on all social media networks, it's at Brother King Cam. Okay, we got somebody want to come in now. Boy, I'm going to start doing this at the beginning of the show, because y'all be taking all day. All right, here we go. Let's see. Let me see. We got the guests in the green room. Oh, okay. She already assigned. So we're going to do this. Oh, no, we won't do that. We'll do this. Add to right. Miss Forrest, how you doing?
Hello. Yeah, I guess what's on my mind is Chris Rock's family. Uh, I saw where Will Smith's family mother spoke. She had an interview, and the sister had an interview about his reactions. But, I keep thinking about Chris Rock's family too, and, what they're going through. And it just seems like, I know Chris Rock didn't file charges, and it just almost like as if he's dismissing it.
Right.
And I'm just wondering, I don't know, because I've been a fan of both of them, and you watch their movies, and for that to happen, I just really thought that it should have happened at a later time, like a conversation just between them two. And the way it went down, it just was uncool for me.
Yes, ma'am. So let me ask you this question. Do you think, from Will Smith's perspective, if that was you being joked on by Chris Rock and your husband was there, what reaction would you expect from him?
It was his night, and I would have gave him a look like, to keep his cool, because that was his night. And I would have addressed any concerns that I had about his joke at a later time.
Okay.
If I know my husband and if he does have a temper, I would have said, we need to wait until this is all over with for us to have that conversation, because I thought that was at a wrong time.
Right. Yes, ma'am. I mean, I agree. And like I said, I was one of the people who said that I stood with Will Smith in his defense of his wife. But also, we have to not advocate violence, which I wasn't. Did not advocate violence, but also understanding that there's a way to defend your wife that's not always physical. Because most of the time, 99% of the time, you can defend your wife and it not become a physical altercation. But we have to be able to understand that, and it's important. And I have read some words from the minister as it pertains to controlling your emotions. And the minister said that the improper handling of emotion does not allow us to grow beyond self. It makes our reasoning subjective and clouds our judgment of individuals, circumstances, and events. It makes us judge individuals, circumstances, and events by how we are affected personally. Thus, we never see the bigger picture. An improper handling of emotion makes us judge selfishly. So when you're not able to control your emotion, then you judge things improperly. And it clouds the reasoning, and it clouds your judgment of the individuals, the circumstances, and the events. And that's exactly what happened to Will Smith. His whole understanding was clouded by his emotion.
It sure was.
And he was not able to properly see the individuals, the circumstances, and the events, because if he did, he would realize, oh man, this is my night. I got my wife here, got my family here. We at this big event. I can't just wild out like that. We got to address this at another type of way. He didn't judge the individual properly. Chris Rock is a colleague of his. Another mega star, Hollywood entertainer. you went up there and slapped this man and embarrassed him, humiliated him in front of his wife, in front of his children. So, and because you aggressed him, shoot, he got the God-given right to fight with you now. Because you ran up into his personal space and violated him. So it's so many different, so many different perspectives. I certainly appreciate you calling in, sis. I certainly appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Oh, man, this thing is sweet. Boy, this thing is sweet, man, the way we can get these people up here. But, man, we might have to do a part 2, family. We might have to do a part 2 so that we can bring some more people up here, man, because I like this part. It's cool. I'm just talking. But when we get other people up here to chime in and to give, opposing views, can add some other stuff to the table, man, that's a beautiful thing. So, what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and close it down, family, because it's getting late. Y'all been rocking with your brother for almost 2 hours now. An hour and 42 seconds. So if you want to be a part of the community, like I said, you can see it scrolling across the bottom here. Text podcast to 404-737-1030 to join our podcast community. And you can follow me on all social networks at Brother King Cam. I am your host. And man, it was the best time with y'all tonight. And I can't wait to look forward to tapping in with y'all another time. All right, peace and blessings.
Any leadership that teaches you to depend upon another race is a leadership that will enslave you. Any leadership that teaches you to depend upon another race is a leadership that will enslave you. They gave leadership to our foreparents, and that leadership made them slaves. But we have decided to find a leadership of our own.
Not your average nigga, I'm a god out the hood. They can't downplay me, I came up, I'm elevated. I ain't gotta say too much for them to know I'm coming for what's mine. You know they see me in my presence, say they see how I'm coming. Young, but you not just gonna finesse me like you did my peoples. Then back when you said they was emancipated. This ain't that. Your head too big, you feeling yourself. The game wasn't fair, you had the advantage, we wasn't educated. I don't look at you people the same. Your worst nightmare, my skin tone about them chains. Not no circus lion, son, I can't be tamed. You gon' have to kill me, pussy, Toby ain't my name. Y'all still wanna think our history started when we were slaves? Come on now, talk about them pyramids we made. I was chosen by that man, you know y'all just been running game. The nerve